Horoscope, an astrological forecast for January 2026 for representatives of the Aquarius sign. January 2026, for you, is a time of contrasts. It is a time of a sharp transition from the past to the future. And if the first half of January will still give a representative of your sign a feeling of being in the energies of the past year, will give a sensation that with the arrival of the new year, no new winds have come, since the stellium, the cluster of planets in the first half of January, will pass through your 12th house of the horoscope. This is the house of the past, the house of completion, but alongside this feeling that some conditional trail from the past year is dragging behind you, there will also be a strange feeling of nostalgia. Nostalgia for the times we are living through now, for times that have not yet ended. And it's not so important whether these times are good or difficult. Our mind loves when everything is as it is, when everything develops along a trajectory it understands. Everything new and unknown frightens it. That is, the first half of January for you is a time of nostalgia for today, alongside the emerging confidence that so-called new times are coming. And starting from January 17, planets will begin to move into your sign, where a whole stellium will gather, where Pluto is already located, to which the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mars will join. And of course, each of the planets will bring you its gifts. Although, of course, a cluster of planets, a stellium of planets, creates such an energetic overload. And you may have a feeling not of going from a ship to a ball, but quite the opposite, a feeling of a sharp transition from a calm, cozy, and protected space into a new world, where again you need to do something, defend something, achieve something, decide something, change something, where there is no opportunity to take a pause. Generally, January is a unique period. Throughout just one calendar month, 10 new planetary cycles begin at once, many of which in the second half of January begin in your zodiac sign, and this forms vortices of force and creates new life circumstances. Energies will develop on an increasing scale, reaching their peak in February 2026. And it is in February that the first eclipse of this year will occur, and it will occur precisely in your zodiac sign. And this is the first eclipse in your sign since 2018. Usually, we begin to feel the approach of an eclipse in our own sign very early in advance. Therefore, the sensation that things will never be as they are now, this sensation may, so to speak, haunt us throughout this entire month. Let's discuss in detail the most important astrological events of January and their influence on your sign step by step. On January 1, the planet Mercury moves into the space of the Capricorn sign, into your 12th house of the horoscope, and will be here until January 20. Mercury is our thoughts, words, logic, memory. These are our short roads, everyday roads, roads that are nearby. And the 12th house is the house of completion, the house of the past, the house of the birth of new meanings. Therefore, this period will partially continue the trends of December. Trends toward summing up results, drawing conclusions, reflecting on reasons. This is a time when we usually think a lot about the past. We extract lessons, draw conclusions, and based on this, form new plans. Usually, during this period, we talk less, and people around may think that we are not here and now, that we are wandering in our own reflections. But this is what concerns the entire period from January 1 to January 20. And precisely on January 1, the planet Mercury will be in a tense aspect, in a square relative to the planet Neptune. And this will form an energy of chaos, misunderstandings. On this day, there may be conversations that leave an unpleasant aftertaste. On January 3, on this day, the first full moon of 2026 occurs. It occurs in your 6th house of the horoscope, the house that symbolizes our daily duties, both at work and at home. This house of the horoscope symbolizes our routine, our daily life, the conditions in which we live, and in general our style and rhythm of life and occupation. And this full moon closes some themes, tasks, plots, situations in which you showed your initiative back at the end of June 2025. At that time when the new moon occurred in this sign, this full moon completes the solution of some task, completes some process, and gives results. Here also may be changes in your usual work rhythm. There may be a new work schedule. For some, this is a new job, maybe a new system of payment for your labor or changes in the team in which you work. There will be changes in the schedule of your daily occupation. And also the 6th house symbolizes our healthy lifestyle. This full moon gives some clarity. Someone may sign up for a gym, someone will start playing sports or adhering to healthy eating rules. That is, here will be some decisions, including decisions related to a course of treatment, if this topic is relevant for you. On January 6, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and Venus occurs in your 12th house of the horoscope. The parade of new planetary cycles begins. The Sun is our self, our role, our image, and Venus is our desires and choices. And the conjunction of these planets gives results, gives clarity in those desires and choices we made around January 9, 2022, and also today's themes for reflection. They will be in tune with those themes and desires that were relevant for you in January 2014 and January 2018. The conjunction of these planets occurs in your 12th house of the horoscope. What specific themes and plots might all this concern? First of all, themes of personal life, especially in the plane of secret relationships or relationships that develop, so to speak, along an unusual trajectory. These are long-distance relationships, for example, or relationships in which not everything is completely clear. Also, the 12th house symbolizes our secret savings. Therefore, there may be reflections on your savings and, so to speak, non-obvious sources of profit. Also at this time, there may be some changes in the employment schedule of your life partner. This is a time when you may reevaluate and reinterpret relationships with a very important person for you, but one who is geographically far from you. Also, the 12th house, in which this conjunction occurs, symbolizes emigration. Therefore, for some, this will play out as solving some bureaucratic issues related to moving. And also at this time, you may be preparing to process some documents. I will make a separate video with details about the essence of this Sun-Venus cycle and its influence on each of the zodiac signs. On January 8, on this day, a conjunction of Venus and the planet Mars occurs in your 12th house of the horoscope. This is another new planetary cycle. Venus symbolizes feminine energy, and Mars masculine. Venus is our desires, choices, and Mars is our concrete steps, concrete actions. The conjunction of these planets occurs in the 12th house of the horoscope, the house of what is hidden. Therefore, now themes of actions that are not in plain sight may be relevant for you. That is, this may be the beginning of the implementation of some plan of yours that you are not yet publicizing. Also, this is a time when you may decide to restructure the principle of your working relationships with the team, with management, or a new way of interacting with your clients. Also, the 12th house is the house of immersion. Therefore, at this time, you may have a business or hobby into which you will literally immerse yourself completely. Of course, figuratively speaking, for some, this is a period when you will take up, for example, diving or start working from home, work on your book, dissertation, or, for example, start reading more or learning something. That is, this time will bring you such a business or hobby into which you will be immersed. January 9 is a very important day. It is the control point of the year. On this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Mars occurs in your 12th house of the horoscope. The conjunction of the Sun and Mars gives birth to a new 2-year cycle of activity. This is a time when a very strong need is born in us to radically improve the state of our affairs in one of life's directions. The conjunction of the Sun and Mars shows us the main field of opportunities for growth for the next 2 years. For you, considering that this conjunction occurs in the 12th house of the horoscope, this may be a new type of activity, occupation, or reorganization of processes that are system-forming for your schedule and rhythm of life. This may also become for you a period of beginning to fight bad habits or fighting to improve your physical condition. Also, the intention in this case may be the reorganization of the space in which you live. I will make a separate video with more details about this important Sun-Mars cycle, as well as the tasks and opportunities it gives to each of the zodiac signs for the next 2 years. On January 9 and 10, the Sun, Venus, and Mars will be in a tense aspect in opposition relative to the planet Jupiter. January 9 and 10 are the exact dates, but the influence of this aspect will be felt until the middle of the month. This is a time that may give a feeling of tension, when, on the one hand, you want to relax, and on the other hand, some matters constantly arise. And also this is a time when we will feel that it is quite difficult to adjust to new rhythms. These days may bring disputes over organizational matters and also disputes in everyday life. On January 17, on this day, the Sun will be in favorable aspects relative to the planets Saturn and Uranus. This is a day of such light and fast energies, when everything is resolved very quickly, a successful day. It will dispel some fears, worries. It will as if remove some restrictions. This is an excellent day for such family, kinship meetings, for purchases for your home, and also for meetings with your friends. And on the same day, January 17, the planet Venus, which symbolizes all earthly joys and blessings, moves into your zodiac sign, into the first house of your horoscope, and will be here until February 10. Planets are beginning to move into your zodiac sign and will bring you their gifts. Venus symbolizes beauty, pleasure. It symbolizes a feeling of well-being and joy of being. And on the 17th, Venus moves into your sign. On the night of the 20th to the 21st, the Sun moves into your sign. On the same day, January 20, Mercury moves into your sign, and on January 23, fiery Mars. Your time begins, especially the period from January 23 to March 2, when Mars will be in your sign. This is the most active segment of the year, even hyperactive. This is a time when you feel that everything is in your hands here and now, that the time has come to act actively. On January 18, the first new moon of 2026 occurs. It occurs in the sign of Capricorn, in your 12th house of the horoscope. And for you, the energy of this new moon is like the energy of saying goodbye to the affairs of the past. This is a time of completing themes of the 12th house of the horoscope. Now your attention will switch from the affairs of the past to the present moment. The energy of this new moon will give you a feeling that it is time to say goodbye to something cozy, comfortable. But nevertheless, there will be a feeling that it is time to move on, that everything that was is already in the past, that now a new day is coming. On January 20, on this day, the planet Mars, a source of strength and energy, will be in an aspect of luck relative to the planet Uranus. Here, family questions, matters that are somehow connected with your place of residence or your property, will be successfully resolved. For some, this may be a period of concluding a deal, for others the beginning of repairs or moving. Someone at this time will resolve issues related to payments for your real estate and property, or sign a lease agreement. Here, some family issue will be successfully resolved. And also this is a time when you can solve an important task for you remotely. And also on this day, January 20, another important astrological event occurs. A conjunction of the planet Venus and Pluto occurs in your sign. A new Venus-Pluto cycle begins, which will last until March 6, 2027. Venus symbolizes beauty, love, pleasure. And this conjunction of Venus with Pluto occurs in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. That is, we are talking about how beautiful you feel, how you see yourself, feel, how you relate to yourself, how much you love yourself. Pluto, with which Venus will conjunct, Pluto symbolizes transformations. Now your idea of yourself, of your role, begins to change. Also, changes in life and affairs may be somehow connected with love and relationships. This conjunction shows that we want to become more beautiful. We want to take more care of ourselves, to engage with ourselves. But now is only the beginning of this cycle, which, I remind you, will last until March 6, 2027. January 23 is a very important day for your sign. On this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Pluto occurs in your first house of the horoscope. This is the beginning of the annual cycle of transformation. The Sun symbolizes our self, our image, our role, and Pluto is the energy of transformation. Pluto changes what it touches, changes in different ways that are not always to our liking. Pluto in your sign, it is here for a long time, until 2040-243, and Pluto will change a lot in your affairs, but this will happen gradually. Pluto does not take on everything at once. The sphere of its possibilities in your first house of the horoscope is extensive. This includes your role. Role at work, role in the family. This is your social position and position in personal life. This is also your position at work in your career. This is also your possession. This is your external image. Pluto has plenty to take on here. But again, Pluto does not take on everything at once. Each year, at the moment of conjunction with the sun, it takes on a new string of our existence. And for each of us on this day, and especially for your zodiac sign on this day, it is important to feel, to see a hint from the side of space, to see a hint about which particular direction Pluto will take up in this year of 2026. That is, Pluto's possibilities for transformation, when it is in your own sign, are quite extensive here, but it does not take on everything at once. Each year it touches a new string of our existence. And on the day when it passes its conjunction with the sun, this year, that is January 23, we receive a hint, a sign about which particular string of our existence Pluto will take up this year. I will make a separate video with more details about this important Sun-Pluto cycle. On January 26, on this day, the planet Neptune repeats and finally moves into the fiery sign of Aries. Neptune symbolizes ideals, faith. Neptune symbolizes the collective unconscious and the ideals of a generation. In the fiery sign of Aries, its pacifying waters turn into a seething and boiling cauldron. Therefore, we are awaiting a new era, an era of extremes and fanaticism. For your sign, the transit of Neptune through fiery Aries will fall on the space of the third house of the horoscope. And for you, this is good news, since Neptune is finally leaving the financial sector of your horoscope and some uncertainty, pending situations in matters concerning money. There will be significantly fewer of them. Now the illusory and unstable influence on the sector of your resources will finally go away. Now Neptune is moving into your third house of the horoscope, the house of opportunities, and will inspire you. I will make a separate video with details about the essence of this transit, a long, multi-year one, and its influence on each of the zodiac signs. On January 27, this is the most important date for your zodiac sign. On this day, a conjunction of two planets of power, the planet Mars and Pluto, occurs precisely in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. Mars symbolizes our personal energy and Pluto the collective. Mars is the force that comes from within us, and Pluto is the force that comes from outside. And on this day, both these forces, both these vectors, unite into a single stream. This is a time of limitless possibilities and radical changes. Two planets of power unite to change the course of things, to change the future. After all, their conjunction occurs in your sign, and your sign symbolizes the future. On this day, a powerful vortex of energy is formed, into which one needs to invest one's goals and intentions. This is a day when it is important to direct this energy flow. It is important to manifest one's true self, to manifest one's will. It is important to choose your arena of battle for success, your space for transformation. This is important for everyone, regardless of the exact date of your birth. But this moment will manifest especially vividly in the affairs of those born between January 21 and 25 of any year. I will make a separate video with details about the essence of this 2-year Mars-Pluto cycle, the cycle of transformation, the cycle of power, and its influence on each of the zodiac signs. Thus, from the point of view of astrology, will be January 2026. Yes, the first month of this year. It will bring many radical changes both in the world and in the affairs of each of us. I wish you a wonderful, successful month, dear Aquarius.